do you think that although this is a horrible disaster, that it will help make this kind of containing this or regulations on all this easier for biologists, marine biologists, people who are already so aware about the problems that these things could pose for us?
Will it make it easier? Well, let's see. There's several ways of answering that. I think, you know, to every disaster there is a silver lining. One thing is that it stopped the opening up of the rest of our shores to offshore drilling for a closer look. And I think that's why. One thing that you guys should know is that that oil rig that BP was using, the Deep Horizon, is the cutting edge of our technology. That rig, which cost $350 million to make, is the creme de la creme. We don't get better than that right now. It had 3 redundant fail-safe mechanisms that didn't work. The explosion must have just been so rapid and so enormous. I mean, they saw the flames, not the smoke, the flames from 35 miles away. And then look, we've got the best and our brightest trying to cap that flow, which is, you know, 5,000 gallons, 5,000 barrels a day. And I don't know if you heard the latest, but the containment dome that they tried to put on, it got jammed with hydrate, crystallized gas. And that's a very tricky problem, because at depth you're working with gas and hydrates that are very different from the way they are at the top. So that's my long-winded answer of saying I think good will come of this, because we do have to figure out, you know, now that this happened. So of course there's going a lot of research into making sure nothing like this ever happens again. And so maybe there'll be, you know, 5 more fail-safe mechanisms in there. There'll be, you know, 6 more redundant systems. So I think in the long run, good stuff will come of it. But boy, it's a huge price to pay. I don't think we're going to wean ourselves off from oil anytime soon, unfortunately. But this is a big wake-up call for our operations. Yeah, another question?
What are some ways as students and just members of our community that we can get involved and try to help with this kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I've been looking for answers to that. Aside from just going down and trying to, you know, I know that some of the big solutions are putting sandbags along the beaches and trying to keep the oil from actually getting into the wetlands, because the wetlands, it's a lot harder to clean the wetlands than to clean a beach. So, you know, getting down there and filling sandbags. But I also know that there's a group, do you guys listen to Science Friday? Yeah? Did you listen last week?
No, because it's during the day.
Yeah, it's during the day, so you'd have to pull it up on the archive, and I happened to catch it. And it was interesting, because Ira Flato was talking about high schoolers entering a contest for the best solution for the oil spill. And he brought up this one that it's a website that you could check out called Invasive. I think that's I'd have to pull my screen.
Well, it should be on the NPR site. It'll be on the
what?
It should be on the NPR site, so we can link.
Yeah. I can pull up this site. It's a website where people can post their innovative ideas. Innovative or incentive. At any rate, I'll send that link to you in a moment. But there was a high school class in Maryland who looked at some vegetable fibrous material that I think is made from Global Environmental Technologies out of Florida. And they tested it, and they tested a bunch of different materials in their science class and saw which ones did the best job at soaking up the oil, and then they sent that in. And this material, made by Global Environmental Technologies, I'll double check on that, it's being stymied by the EPA because they just through paperwork. There's a vegetable fiber, and it's ready to go, and everybody says it's fantastic, but there's paperwork, and meanwhile you've got all this oil gushing out. So what this high school team has done is shown, wow, this stuff is really good. They're adding additional, they're putting a spotlight on this, and maybe that will help push policy through so that you can start deploying some of this natural stuff that can then be harvested, and you can squeeze the oil out of it and still use the oil. There's, I urge you to you guys aren't, you're 10th grade, so not voting yet, but urge your parents to stay on top of the issues, because I think, we really need to make sure that BP, who caused the spill, pays for it. And there's a federal bill that was put forth by the Oil Pollution Act that puts a federal cap on how much BP can pay for damages of $75 million. That BP is projected to earn $23 billion this year. To have a cap of $75 million is ludicrous. I think BP has the means to put a lot of money into research, better research for oil spill remediation. They have a lot of means to clean up this mess, even more than Exxon. So I think there's good that's going to come out of it, but we've got to make sure that BP really pays for the research and pays for the cleanup, and that we don't let these bills, these caps, get in the way. Long-winded answer. Did that answer what you were asking?
Yeah.